Stop, he hissed, looking downwind first in case they walked into an ambush. Man-shaped footprints had disturbed the pulverized rock. Fresh tracks. Intruders. The sun was higher now, dull white behind the clouds. Snow gleamed on the mountains. Nim paced slowly over a wide area, examining the ground. Then he made his decision. The reindeer had shied north to avoid the other men, so he took his hunters east. East was away from the herd, but away from home, too. Han grunted his approval as they ran from the other men's tracks, recognizing Nim's intent. Soon they hooked northward again, maneuvering behind the enemy. Twice they found more footprints where the other men had followed the wider trail left by the reindeer. Each time Nim adjusted his course, threading through the terrain. He was careful never to cross the highest points, which would allow him to see, but also to be seen. The wind was enough. He had their scent, so he stalked after both targets. Finally, he spotted one of the intruders near the base of a hill. Nim dropped into a crawl with his best knife in hand. Each of his hunters carried several blades of flake granite in addition to clubs of horsebone. "Be ready," he said as a second intruder joined the first. The other men touched the earth again and again, clumsily examining the herd's spoor. They were hideous. They had small heads, flat faces, and pebble noses. One had diseased-looking hair that was yellow and thin. They were taller than Nim, with longer legs and arms. He knew of them from his father's legends. His father had called them dead men because they uttered nonsense if they spoke, and because their tools and clothing were pitiful efforts like things imagined by ghosts. The dead men even walked like spirits with strides as long as the reindeer. Nim's pack had caught up because the dead men appeared to need a lot of rest, which was good. For any advantage the dead men possessed in height and reach, Nim's hunters compensated with their stamina. His people were stronger. They had natural armor in the dense bone of their foreheads. The dead men were Cro-Magnon men, the early race of Homo sapiens. Nim and his tribe were Neanderthals. "Now, before they smell us," Nim said. He stole sideways against a crease of bedrock. Han and En came after him while the other three stayed behind. They would attack in two prongs, although they were outnumbered. Nim didn't need to see all of the dead men to know there were 11. From their tracks, he'd learned a great deal about them. The dead men wore leather wrappings like his people, but they had smaller feet and didn't push as hard into the earth. They were insubstantial. To his eyes, their movement also lacked focus. As they traveled, the dead men meandered with the same flighty behavior as the reindeer, never holding position. Nim didn't like it. Everything his people did, they did with unity. The adrenaline in his veins felt loud and good as he ascended the lee side of the hill. Near the top, the wind increased. Nim was acutely aware of each gust sweeping his skin with the oxygen-thick scent of the glaciers. "This is our land," he thought. Beside him, En wore a feral grin. Han flexed his bad arm in a repetitive, habitual motion that Nim found calming. "Go," he said. They charged over the hill. The dead men were exactly where he'd expected, kneeling at a spring. One fell backward in shock. The rest scattered to Nim's right, where they would meet his other hunters. But their speed was breathtaking. Nim's pack had no chance to engage the dead men, not even the one who'd fallen. Han got in a single slash of his knife, opening the dead man's shoulder before the dead man sprang onto his long legs and ran. "Ah!" Nim shouted, chasing them with his voice. His father had defended this territory before him. Nim would find the enemy camp and kill them in their tents if necessary. With luck, the dead men would return to their tribe and leave, taking their women and children. Why did they keep coming? Seconds later, Nim saw the dead men sprinting up a hill to the southeast. Han laughed and sank his knife into the mud by the spring.